All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It is a beautiful Monday morning, May 20th, 2024. We get together most weekday mornings, 8 o'clock Central, talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and to support each of you. We have gone from a soft to a hard launch now, so we're fully functional on the Making Millionaires affiliate campaign. Well, what is that? What does that mean? Well, this is a resource for those of you that are looking for a simple and profitable lead generation campaign. So we've spent a lot of time in the past talking about the startup program where we're providing the essential elements to have a fundable business, whether it be a unique commercial address, filing with the Secretary of State, getting the EIN, getting the bank account, building out the business credit profile, adding primary trade lines, building a strong paydex score, as well as building strong financials. We actually, in the startup program, literally transfer legally and ethically assets over so they can put them on their balance sheet so they have collateral for funding. The startup program is amazing. It's frankly what most entrepreneurs need. However, it's not free because there's cost involved. It's grant subsidized, but it's not free. And so some of you have had some issues gaining the trust of your prospects, so they were slow or hesitant to enroll in the startup program. Well, if you don't have that trust with them, maybe we should look at a no upfront cost entry point that provides value to them, income to you, and then after they've received funding, then you could pivot them over into the startup program. So this affiliate campaign is not conflicting, it's not competing with the startup program. It doesn't include those elements, but it is very, very attractive. And because it has no upfront cost to the client and guaranteed results. And we've talked a little bit about how difficult that is to legally and ethically guarantee a minimum of $100,000. But we've talked about how that is legal, how it's ethical, and how it's FTC compliant. If you have questions, let me know. And in general, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, type it into the question and answer box of Zoom. It's like a chat box. All right. So as far as the affiliate program as a lead generation campaign, so let's one more time clarify why this should be making sense to you. So if you are wanting to help people and make money, you need people to help to make money. Kind of obvious. So if you can go out to the marketplace with a resource that is attractive to your prospects and has no upfront cost, you're going to be able to build a more significant lead funnel, plus make money a second time per client. So this is an incredibly profitable affiliate program. Let's make sure that everyone's clear how it works. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, type it into the Q&A and we'll address it. All right, so first of all, affiliate programs are credible, they're reputable, they've been around a long time. There's lots of different types of affiliate programs, but there's no selling. Typically, in an affiliate program, you are not asked to be a salesperson. You're generating awareness and you're funneling them into a free landing page that's provided to you. And that's the way ours is. So some people say, well, I'm not a salesperson, like it's a bad thing. But regardless, you don't need to be a salesperson. You literally don't need to sell anything. You just create awareness. And there's no risk. We provide a free landing page. Now, this is not the landing page that you'll use that you receive. We've looked at that before. This is the landing page to come into the system if you're not already, and you access this landing page on makingmillionaires.org. So Making Millionaires is the theme. It's the branding of this affiliate campaign. And I'll explain in a minute why it's named as such. So we provide a free landing page for you. So again, from the affiliate program, the affiliate campaign, you're creating awareness, not selling them anything. You're just feeding them into your landing page, and our system will take care of the rest, and you get paid. And we'll talk about money in a minute. Then from there, once the client's funded, if you want to help them in additional ways, like through the startup program, you can. So as far as money, this is not big money compared to what a lot of you make. But you're looking at a minimum, contractual minimum of $5,000 each time you refer someone in. So since it's a smaller amount, our goal would be to work with you and do that once a day. Let's assume we take weekends and holidays off. So our goal would be to do 20 a month, Mondays through Fridays. And there'll be some good days and some bad days. And there's no production requirements on the affiliate campaign. So don't worry about that. But it's providing two benefits to you. Again, just to maybe I'm redundant, but to emphasize. By being able to go to the marketplace with an offering that has no upfront cost, it's a great way to generate leads. And then many of these folks, after they're funded, will turn around and enroll in the startup program with you. And we used, I think it was Friday, we had an example where Dr. Davis, one of our branch offices / affiliates, she's actually not on this morning. Oh, no, she is. Dr. Davis is here. So Dr. Davis had a client, his name's Dexter W. We'll leave his last name out, former pro athlete. She brought Dexter in. We got him his first round of funding. She got paid. Of course, he got funding. I think it was $17,000 and some change. And then he turned around and enrolled immediately in the startup program. That's a very common theme. Can't guarantee that the client will sign up for the startup program because they may or may not need it. They may or may not see the value. But if they got money in their pocket and now they trust you, we've got a really good chance. And even if they don't, you're still making $5,000 off the first initiative, their first enrollment. We have great success stories. We went through a number of those. I'm pretty sure it was Friday. My memory's not that great, but I think it was Friday's training. We went through a bunch of success stories. As far as engaging, crazy simple. People want fast, simple, and free. Fast, simple, and free. So we're going to get as close as we can to fast, simple, and free for everything that we do going forward. So makingmillionaires.org brings you to this page. And so if you're not currently participating in the affiliate campaign, this is where you start. Not very complicated, is it? And so you'll fill this out, check the box, click the blue. It'll send you a text, say, hey, thanks for your interest. And then it will provide the link to get plugged in. What are the responsibilities? We're talking about your responsibilities. We're not talking about the participant. We're going to talk about the participant / client in a moment. Right now, we're talking about you. What is it that you would do if you wanted to participate in the affiliate campaign, the Making Millionaires? So as I mentioned, you don't need to sell anything. The less that you talk, probably the better. We'll provide you a free landing page, and on that landing page, it'll have a basic script, one paragraph. That should be all that you need to say, because what you're offering them is, hey, why don't you come, let's see what kind of offers you qualify for now. No minimum credit scores, no minimum time in business. And then through our grant-subsidized program, we guarantee you at least $100,000. But we can get you what you qualify for now. Then we'll work with you to get you at least $100,000. No upfront cost. No upfront cost. You should get great response. Some of you have struggled a bit going out to the marketplace with the startup program where there is an upfront cost for good reason, because of the value proposition, because of the costs that are involved with that. And if the people don't trust you, they don't want to spend money out of pocket. Here, they don't have to trust you much because they're not paying anything out of pocket. Once they get funded, then they'll probably trust you, then they can enroll in the startup program. Hopefully that's clear. A few of you, some of you, have struggled with the startup program because some of you were going to your warm audience. They looked at you and it's like, why am I going to take financial advice from you? So the analogy, and I forget who it was. I think it was Herman that said this, but I forget. It's like, have you ever gone into the city and there's a four-way stop or a stoplight, and you got a homeless person holding a cardboard sign, right? So would you pull up to that guy with a cardboard sign and say, could you give me some financial advice? No, and that's hyperbole. That's an exaggerated example. But in general, if it doesn't look like you're doing so well, people probably don't want to take financial advice from you. So with this, it simplifies it. We provide you a landing page, and you're just simply saying, hey, go to the landing page, fill it out. We'll get you funding offers, and by going through the process, we guarantee at least 100,000. So just to clarify, so why don't they get 100,000 immediately? Well, they may. Some people do. We gave you examples on Friday. Some people won't get 100,000 up front. They'll get whatever they qualify for now, and then we'll need to work with them over the next 30 days or so to get them qualified for the 100,000. But this removes you from being the message, because again, some of you are struggling a bit in life. This should resolve it. And so when you're looking kind of broke and kind of destitute and offering financial advice to others, people don't want to take financial advice from broke people. So here we simplify it. Now, let's say they turn around and let's say you make the pitch. Charles is on the line here. And so Charles makes the pitch, and the first response is the person says, well, Charles, did you get any funding offers? So, and of course, if Charles has gone through it, he can honestly and ethically say yes, because everyone gets at least one offer. Most people get 10 plus. Okay, but let's go back to your responsibilities. So, since our proposition is that the participants have no upfront cost because of the grant subsidy, and they're guaranteed a minimum of 100,000. So we'll highlight these two bullets together, hopefully on my shared screen. That's a really strong proposition, a really strong proposition. No upfront cost. Let us get you some funding offers now. Should be funded in about 7 days. Then we'll work with you to get you fundable enough for a minimum of 100,000. I mean, that is a strong proposition. Again, in general, we encourage you to say the least necessary, get them to your landing page, help them put in the 4 pieces of information. So again, this is not where you would drive them. This is if you want to participate yourself. You'll have a different landing page, which we showed you, but it is as simple as this. It has just 4 pieces of information on it as well. And again, key questions that people might ask you, this should have a, people might ask you, well, what are the minimum credit scores to participate? There are none. What's the minimum time in business? Those are the 2 common questions, because these are the reasons why most people don't get funding. Either they don't have a fundable business, and or they have shitty credit, and or they have a brand new business. None of those are barriers to the approach that you and I have through this grant subsidized program. So the goal, of course, is to drive people to your landing page. All right, so how do you get paid? It's important to understand how you get paid. It's got to be worth your while. We're all here to help other people. But if our branding here is making millionaires, which is also on the landing page here, we need to make sure we're delivering off of that. So you're paid $5,000 minimum per referral that comes through your landing page, people that enroll and go through the program. Specifically, you're getting 5% of their capital raise. So that's specifically how you're paid. So if they get a minimum of 100,000 and you're getting 5% of that, how much is it? It's 5,000. That's the minimum though, right? They could get more and then you would get more. If they got 200,000, then you would make 10,000. You see, it's linear. So we know your time is valuable, although this doesn't take much time. So it's good for you because there's minimum income for you per deal, and there's minimum income per client because they're getting a minimum of 100,000. All right, last thing, and then we'll open it up for questions. So what we've covered so far is kind of the highlights, how to engage, makingmillionaires.org, what are your responsibilities, which is really just simply invite people to your landing page. Hopefully compensation is clear, right? 5 points of the client's capital raise. So what is it that participants receive? And again, I think in general, the less you say to client or prospective clients, the better off you are. On your landing page, it'll have a little introductory paragraph like this. Obviously not this one, but let's go ahead and go through some bullets. So you could say to them, well, without any upfront cost, and there's no hard inquiries, you're going to receive your first tranche funding offers. Maybe tranche doesn't make sense to them. So you can say first round of funding offers. So we're going to get them funding offers right now, and then they'll get funded, you get paid, and then we work with them to help them become fundable enough to get at least 100,000. So you see there's kind of two steps: money now and more money later. Marilyn's asking, well, when will that money now be? Normally it's within 7 days. That's consistent with the example, the success story we gave you from Friday. And then how long for the bigger money? The bigger money may come in one tranche or multiple tranches. It'll vary based upon the client's mitigating circumstances, because this is not a scam. This is not too good to be true. Just because they signed up, it doesn't mean that they're magically qualified for $1 billion or $1 million. That's too good to be true. We'll get them what they qualify for now, and then we'll move them through the process. Some people might be worried, well, I don't know if this will work for me. I've made some really shitty decisions in my life, and I don't know if it'll work. It'll absolutely work. Everyone receives at least one offer. Most people get many offers. Currently, you have over 40 different lenders that are participating in this campaign. And so many clients will get multiple offers, even from each lender. But everyone will get at least one. Everyone will get at least one. So the first tranche, people will ask you, well, how much is my first tranche going to be? First round. I don't know, right? I mean, that's the whole point. We need to fill out the app, put it in the system, and it's going to spit out the results. I don't know. You don't know. No one knows until we go through the process. We know you'll get at least one offer, which we said, probably going to get multiple. In terms of dollar amounts, we see some folks get more than 100,000 from their first tranche, but guess what? Some people get less than 100,000. We don't know. I mean, that's the whole point of going through it. That's why it's built around the concept of getting funding proposals. They can accept the funding offers they like, and they can decline those that they don't. So they're going to get the first round of funding offers immediately. And when we say immediately, normally within 24 hours, right? It's not so good to be true that they fill it out in a microsecond later, but typically within 1 business day, they're going to get their funding offers. We were caught up as of yesterday. A bunch of apps came through overnight, so we'll be processing those today. But when we say immediately, just understand we mean normally within 1 business day. And then how long does it take them to get the funding from that? On average, a week. Some can fund as soon as the next day. Some could take a little longer, because remember I said there's 40 different lenders that are participating. Each lender has a little bit of a different process, so there's not a simple answer, but on average, about a week afterwards, and that's consistent with the success story that we had on Friday with Dr. Davis and her client. And so then what happens, and this is really key, well, to you and I, this is the most key element on the whole list here. We're going to help them become more fundable so they qualify for more. But the truth is, that's really not what motivates people. People want, what do I get now? What do they get in their first tranche? But they'll get whatever they qualify for now, and then we'll work with them to help them get qualified for at least 100,000. If they want more than 100,000, that's fine. You and I are kind of like realtors, to the extent if someone wants a bigger house, that's great for you and I, because you and I are paid part of the, after closing, we're paid part of the sales transaction price. So yeah, if they want 200,000 instead of 100,000, that's great. If they want $1 million instead of 100,000, that's great. Now the guarantee is written specifically for 100,000. So the guarantee is written for 100,000. Doesn't mean we have to stop at that point. All right, so Timothy's asking, can clients participate multiple times? Sure. So each capital raise project, let's say there's someone that wants to buy an office building and they also want to expand their bakery. I'm just making something up. So those would be two different projects. And so, yes, you could enroll people multiple times. Spark will ask, what if they don't have a business? That's not a prerequisite for this campaign. So the campaign for and I'll pull it up here. Let's go to funding proposal online, bring back up my notes. There we go. So this is what your landing page will look like. This landing page is how people come in to become a distribution partner. But this is what your landing page will look like. Now, if you want, we can put your logo at the top, and several of you have had asked us to do that. And so we were talking earlier about, well, what do you say? Really, you shouldn't say anything that's not here. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple, because we're not asking them to pay any money. You're not trying to get them to sign a contract. You're trying to get them to get a funding proposal. So in terms of if they don't have a business, it's not a requirement. They don't have to have a business. In terms of good credit, they don't have to have good credit. In terms of income, they don't have to have income. So there aren't prerequisites. So we're not filtering people out. But Sparkle, your point's valid. So let's say, Sparkle, you bring in Keith. Keith comes in, gets his first round of funding. He wants more funding. He wants it under his business, but he doesn't have a credible business. That's exactly right. So then Sparkle, then you'd be able to probably very easily pivot Keith, your prospect, into the startup program, because that provides valuable resources. Startup program does have an upfront cost because of what we do and our cost structure to perform it, but now the client's got money in their pocket to get that. All right, Keith's asking about interest rates, and that's a fair question. So when we're talking about offers, most clients will get multiple offers. Each lender, we talked about a couple times already, there's multiple lenders, 40 different lenders. Lenders are going to determine the terms. So they're going to determine how much they want to offer the client, what the repayment terms would be, including the interest rate, and clients can pick what they want. Keith asked a more direct question: can the client negotiate the interest rate? Well, I guess they could try. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I don't know what leverage they would have, but sure. I mean, that's fine. Because remember, we're not the lenders, right? You and I are not the lenders. All right. Doug's asking about participating. So the opportunity fund is what we call our distribution model. So anyone that's wanting to work together to help others and make money, you would come here, makingmillionaires.org, you'd fill this out. So it's analogous, right? So this is how we bring in distribution partners. This is how we bring in clients. But this site here is actually fundingproposal.online. You wouldn't want to drive people to it. You would get your own website, but I'll just explain. So you will have a free landing page like https:// fundingproposal.online. So we take care of the cost. So anyone that doesn't have a landing page link, no E on there. Anyone that doesn't have it needs to get with us so we can get you set up properly. Denise asked about the offers that they receive. So we talked about everyone gets at least one offer. Many get multiple. She asked, are they pre-approved? Yeah, because there's no hard inquiries. And so the lenders that we're working with are going to give them with just a soft inquiry, no hard inquiry, the offers. So then the clients can pick which of those offers they want to move forward with. and then at that time, it would be locked in. All right, so some of you, let's go back up to the top. So some of you are needing assistance. So let's make sure you know nothing has changed. If I could type, it'd be better, wouldn't it? So our phone number, everybody should have that, hasn't changed. Our email, support@chapmanloanprogram.org. So if you need any individualized assistance, I encourage you after the webinar. You need a landing page, you have questions, you need individual attention. Phone number answered live Mondays through Fridays by a team of receptionists. Email. And then, of course, our service model is to schedule weekly calls with each of you so we can go through. All right, let's see. Anthony's asking about support, and that's a great question, and I didn't put it on here. So we've hired our first, and we'll hire additional funding managers. And so each of you that are participating in this campaign, we'll go back over to this page because it's more relevant to what we're talking about now, will be introduced to your funding manager this week. So you'll have her name, you'll have her email, you'll have her phone. She's able to let you know how many people have come through your landing page, what the status is. So really good support, really good service. And so we have just one funding manager now. Her name's Charlotte, just in case you want. She's a RN, she's a registered nurse. So her experience is not in funding, in fact, but it's in case management. She was the clinic manager of a health clinic in a jail. She then left that and became the case manager, clinic manager in a long-term care facility. So she's used to managing files and managing processes. So she is great in this role. So any of you that are signed up in this campaign will be making an introduction to her to you and you to her this week. So you'll be able to reach out to her. So of course she does have a different phone number and she does have a different email. But I think you'll really like the support. But before you get to her, you need to be set up, and that comes through us here. All right, so I think we covered everything. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hopefully, in closing, you see this as a big deal, because I think it is a big deal. We want to help each of you make at least $100,000 a month, 1.2 million a year. So let's look at the math. How does the math work? So you make 5,000 minimum per referral. Not a big deal. I know a lot of you make a lot of money, but it's a nice side gig. But if we can, with daily referrals, in other words, one a day, skipping weekends, skipping holidays, that puts us at 20 per month. That equals 100,000 a month. Now we're talking, right? Still not life-changing income, but pretty good. Well, what happens? There's 12 months in a year times 100,000 a month equals 1.2 million. So when we're talking about making millionaires, we want you to be a millionaire on paper. On an annual basis, we want your income to be 1.2 million. Too good to be true? Not at all. But you got to break it down, right? Because we don't just make 1.2 million. We need to make 100,000 12 times. Well, we don't just want to make 100,000 12 times. We need to start referring people into your landing page. So it's one by one that it accumulates to big numbers. Anyone can make lots of money. You have to have two things, I guess. You have to have an economic engine that can pay really well. So we have that, of course, together. And then secondly is application or implementation. And that's where you come in. But my goodness, how hard is it to make this proposition to let people know, hey, with no upfront cost, we can get you a funding offer or funding offers. You can pick the ones that you want. There's no minimum credit scores, no minimum time in business. Get the funding that you want within the next week or so up front. Then our team will work with you typically over the next 30 days to get you a minimum of 100,000. And that's guaranteed in writing. It's a great proposition. And again, that proposition is summarized here. So what you're asking them to do is just take the first step. The first step is, hey, let's get you a free funding proposal to see what you qualify for. There's no minimum credit scores, no upfront cost, no hard inquiries. Pick the offers. Now you'll notice it doesn't mention 100,000 in the introductory paragraph. That is the guarantee. It's in writing with them, but we don't want to confuse them, right? We don't want people to come to your landing page and let's say they get 78,000 for their first tranche. We don't want them to be pissed off at you and us. Like, damn it, you told me I'd get 100,000 first tranche. No. We didn't say first tranche. We said, we'll work with you to get at least 100,000. You get whatever it is up front. So that's why we purposely left that out, even though, 100,000 guaranteed is attractive, and that's true. That is not accurate to say that the first tranche is guaranteed to be 100,000. So to avoid confusion or concern, we've left it out, but you could certainly advise them of that. All right, Denise asked if they have multiple businesses, so that's fine. So they would just come through here and they would go through the process multiple times. So you'll have a landing page that'll look like this. You'll have your own unique link, and they can fill it out multiple times. All right, well, I think we know enough to be dangerous. I hope that you see the value proposition that we offer, but you could be one of a couple different mindsets. If you're really focusing on the startup program, then you could see this as a great lead generation because it's easier to go to the marketplace with something that has no upfront cost and guaranteed results, 100,000. So you could see it from that perspective. Others of you just want the path of least resistance. You want to do the least amount of work in the least amount of time and optimize your income. And so through this alone, you could do really well. Now, I can't promise you'll do 20 a month. I don't think there's any reason that you shouldn't be doing that one a day. But even, what if you're just looking for a little bit of income? Do one a month. Would an extra 5,000 a month help your household or your business budget? Probably so. But I think we're all opportunistic enough. There's a lot more people to help. Why stop at one? Why not do two? And if we're going to do two, why not do three? The first is the hardest because it's just something new, but it's not that difficult. Get your landing page. If you don't have your landing page, let us know. We'll get that resolved. And just refer people to it. Read them this paragraph. In a perfect world, be on the phone with them when they're putting in 4 pieces of information. You don't have to be, but perfect world, be on the phone with them to make sure they do it, because a lot of times people will say they're going to do it and they don't. All right, well, there we have it. Thanks everyone for your time this morning. We'll see you back tomorrow morning, and let us know what we can do to help you. Thanks. Bye.